Okay, hello everyone. This is the second installation video that I'm doing today, and this one is going to show how to put Mio on another partition, such as you don't want Mio to handle your grub screen, you want a dual boot, triple boot, whatever, and you have another system that you have controlling your grub. This will show you how to install MiyoLinux on another partition so that the operating system that you're using now to handle your grub will continue to do so. And of course, after you install Mio, you'll need to run update grub on that main system. Alright. Again, this is the welcome screen that you're greeted with when you boot into MiyoLinux. Of course, this is MiyoCompiz, and you can read the live user notes, the release notes. If you need a different keyboard layout, you can click on Change Keyboard Layout and choose a different one. All you'll do is find the one you need, click on it, and click OK, and it will temporarily adopt that layout. Alright? Network connections. I'm going to try this again on the other installation video. What I'm using, this is an old Sony Vaio. This was the first computer I ever bought for our family. Bought it back in 2006, and it came with Windows Vista. And it eventually became unusable, and that's what got me turned on to Linux. I somehow managed to get Ubuntu installed on this computer and I didn't know what I was doing, but I got it installed, and that's a long story I won't bore you with. Anyway, about 2 years ago I had to put a new hard drive on this computer, and if you have never, well, I can't say this for all Sony Vaios, just to change the hard drive out on this computer, I had to take the whole computer basically apart. And I know I messed up the touchpad on it, and I think I probably did something to the wireless, because wireless on this computer is hit or miss. It may or may not pick it up. I'm going to go ahead and take the chance. When I did the other installation video earlier, it wouldn't pick up the Wi-Fi, but I'm going to try it just to see. Just be warned, it may not work, and it's not picking it up. It would show down here if it was picking up the Wi-Fi. So sometimes it picks it up, sometimes it doesn't, and that's my fault, because I probably destroyed it when I was changing out that hard drive. But just for the sake of showing how it's done, if you do want to connect to your Wi-Fi, you'll open up this CMST right here next to Wi-Fi where it says off. Just click that button right there, and that'll turn on Wi-Fi. And when you turn that on, it should show a list of Wi-Fi networks available down here. So what you would do, you'd come over here to this wireless tab, click on that, and again it would show the list of available Wi-Fi networks you can connect to. You would click on the one you want to connect to, and though it's grayed out right here, you would click connect. Another window will pop open where you enter your password for that Wi-Fi network, and then click OK, and it should connect. But since wireless isn't working on this computer, I don't get to show you that. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the installation. Again, you can install straight from here by clicking on Install MiyoLinux, or you can come to the menu, and under System you can do Install MiyoLinux right there. You can also reopen this welcome screen. Alright, so we're just going to do that. I'm going to click on Install MiyoLinux, and I'm going to close the welcome screen out. And if you notice, it says do not close this terminal until the installation is finished. So always leave this terminal open, okay? Alright. Some general information here. We're going to click continue. More general information. This is a BIOS computer. So just click continue. Alright, here are all the different options where you can create a new home partition if you want to. Several different things. I just leave the defaults. I don't need a separate home partition. So I'm just going to leave everything like it is and click OK. I do want to point out it had use an existing swap file. Whoa! Or use an existing swap partition. Now if you want, you can just install this with just a swap file, and I'll show you how to do that. You can either remove that check mark from use an existing swap partition on that previous screen, or there's a way to bypass it if you happen to have left that and just use a swap file instead of a swap partition. Alright, this screen right here is showing all of my available partitions. Here we have, that's where I put Mio i3 earlier on the first installation video. SDA3, that's the extended partition that I created. So I'm going to be dealing with SDA5 and SDA6. SDA5 is my swap partition I want to use, and SDA6 is the root partition. Okay? So you need to have at least one partition ready. We've already got our partitions ready. We don't need to run gparted or cfdisk, so we're going to skip this step because I know I'm going to put the operating system on SDA6 and the swap partition will be SDA5. Okay? I don't need this. Well, I'll just leave it open because you can leave that window open if you want. Alright, skip this step. We don't need to run gparted or anything like that. Alright, where do you want to install the bootloader? Now, I installed i3 to the MBR in the earlier one. So what I'm going to do, unless I wanted this to take over the grub screen, I'm going to install it onto a partition. Okay? Instead of the MBR, I'm going to install it to a partition. So that's the one I'm going to choose. And it'll ask me what partition. Select a partition for the bootloader. Now we know I want to put it on SDA6. That is my root partition that I'm going to be installing the operating system on. So I'm going to put grub and the operating system on the same partition. Now again, if I was choosing MBR, it would be different. If you want to, go back and watch the installation video for i3 to see what the difference is, okay? So I'm going to choose SDA6. Choose a partition for the installation of the operating system, SDA6. Click on it and click OK. What file system? You can choose any of these. I always go with ext4. Alright, here's where we choose our swap. Now, I was saying if you wanted to use a swap file instead of an actual partition, all you would do instead of clicking on one of these is just click OK. Don't click and highlight any of these. If you just click OK, another little window is going to open up and say that you didn't choose a partition, it's going to create a swap file instead, and just click OK on that window. But I'm going to put it on SDA5 and click OK. Alright, here's a summary of what's going to happen. The bootloader will be installed on SDA6. The operating system will be on SDA6, and home will not be on a separate partition. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and close out this other window now, and I'm going to click proceed with the installation. Alright, and here's where we configure our TZ data. Now on the i3 version, you don't get these nice little GUI windows. You get ncurses windows. But what we do, this is our TZ data, our geographic area. I want the US. You have other choices. I'm going to choose US and hit next. Choose my time zone. I want Eastern, and click next. Locale. Now the English US locale will already be chosen. If you're installing somewhere else other than English US, you might want to either remove this check mark or leave it, but you'll need to check the other locale that you need. Okay? So that's the one I want. I'm going to hit next. The default locale. Now if you click on this, you'll see there's these listed. That's the one I want to use for the default. Alright? And click next. Next will come our keyboard layout. And on these, I just take the defaults. You can click on it and, choose something different if you want to, if you know what you need. But I just always take the defaults. Next. English US, keyboard layout. Next. I don't worry about any of these. You can if you want to. If you want to use Control-Alt-Backspace to terminate the X server, put a check mark right there. Next. And here we are. We are about to install the actual system now. So type in the letter Y and hit enter. And it will start installing. Now after this begins, I'm going to probably go back and edit the video so that you won't have to watch all this flying through the terminal there. But I will come back when the next window appears where we move on with the to finish up the installation. Okay? Okay, here we are. All that has finished flying through the terminal. And this is the next window that appears, and this is one of the differences. If I had chosen to install this to the MBR rather than a partition, there would be another button down here on the bottom that would say install bootloader. However, I chose to install this to a partition instead of the MBR, so all I want to do is hit continue. Alright? And here you can enter whatever you like as the host name. I'm going to leave it at MiyoLinux. On the next entry, this is the username. This first one needs to be in all lowercase letters. The next one can be uppercase if you want. And here I'm going to choose to permit sudo for the new user and keep the root account. Alright? And click OK. And here we enter the new root password. have to enter it twice. Uh-oh, I think I hit the wrong key. And this is the new user password. Again, you have to enter it twice and click OK. And installation is finished. Now, since I installed this to a partition rather than to the MBR, when I reboot, I will enter my main system and run update grub, and then Mio should appear in the grub list. Alright, so there you go. Hope that helped somebody, and you guys have a great day. Thanks.